same part, but that was only counted once, or
Yeah,
is it counted 10 times? That's my question.
I don't know.
We'll find out. So the insight you find very helpful.
Yeah, it definitely, and you can see actually when things don't work. Bernie and the Rooster Teeth guys told this little anecdote where in one of their sketches, Jeff and Gus are about to kiss, and it looks like they really are. And there was a huge dip in their insights from people exiting the video at that exact moment. They could see people leave the video at that moment, which actually made them laugh.
I think we can infer something about their audience based on that.
And
Um,
also, they didn't kiss, so for anyone who was worried, it's okay.
yeah. I like the thing that like my sort of thought on this. I'm gonna bring up Ev Money TV. We've mentioned
Yeah.
him before. He had a great comment on. This is just like audience appreciation right now on one of Ricari's videos, and it
Hmm.
was part of that chain that we've been involved in this week. Um, uh, Ricari was sort of mentioning all of this inspiration that's happening, and Ev commented on his videos, "Welcome to the real YouTube." Outside of the like million subscribed channels that are all about money and whatever. Um, and my sort of feeling on the success and quality of videos is I would judge the success of a video based on the community interaction that it generates. So the both the comments on the video itself, the video responses, and then the like whatever is happening outside, like on Skype, on Twitter, or Facebook, etc. Like
Yeah, I think comparing the average number of hits on videos to the subscriber count is probably going to also tell you a lot.
yeah, like th- I recorded a video about this a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember this one.
Um,
Dig it
about
up and link.
yeah, I on it was about dead subscribers, but I was talking about like the sort of the mathematics of like viewers and how many subscribers you have, and it's like, um, people like John Green or the vlog brothers generally, like maybe 20% of their subscribers. Well, I mentioned this why it's wrong, but like like the 20% of the number of subscribers they have is usually the number of people who watch their videos, regardless of whether they're subscribed or not. But I have like a lot of my videos. Um, if you looked at like I have like 200 subscribers. Like 50% of my subscribers watch my videos or more.
Hmm.
And I don't think it's actually like that. Half of them watch my videos. I think that my videos are
I
related
watched
to
all of
other
them
people.
30 times.
Yeah, exactly. um, I think that a lot of my videos are related to other videos and people who aren't subscribed to me watch them, blah blah blah. But um, I would say I think that my videos are very successful for me because all of the people that I care about watch them whenever I post them.
Yeah.
And my community, I don't have a community, but the people that I care about who watch my videos, I know all of them.
Yeah, I said in Prof Martin that one of that you need to know your audience, and I said that my audience, the audience that I'm trying to entertain, is usually the other YouTube creators.
Right?
Like I'm fine that I have a couple thousand people who want to watch my stuff, but if the people like Prof Snape and you and other people watch my videos and like them, I'm happy.
Yes. So I think that that is much more important than views is the community interaction. Um,
And the reactions feature absolutely useless.
yeah, I have my little I mentioned this to Sean, but I'm now operating off of a Mac. Finally, God, this took forever. Um, I'm looking in notational velocity where I keep my notes now, which is great.
Great,
If you,
great name.
yeah, right. Oh, that's great. We can talk. I'll talk about it next week. We just don't have the time. We're already running out of time right now. My notes for this episode, I have for Prof. Save's question. What about the new reactions nonsense? And then I have in parentheses, I clearly don't like this feature. I wrote nonsense and I put reactions in scare quotes, which means I don't like it. I don't like it. I think it's stupid.
Yeah,
To
someone
be
asked me if you can tell who gave the reactions, and no, you can't.
no, YouTube has a sort of a database problem. Whatever. it's not a problem. They get 30 hours of videos every whatever. What is it? Every
Minute.
minute? Every
Yep.
minute. Um, and there's no way that they could make a database that like collects all of that and the comments and associates them together and have it be like bulletproof. Like, there's just not possible at this state of humanity. But um, some a feature sorely lacking in YouTube for content creators is a way to analyze individual people who watch their videos at a much finer grain level. You'd kind of want to be able to like make lists of people, so you could do like counts on them, like much more detailed than what Insight gives you and demographics give you, and it's just not possible. It's just they can't. It's too complicated. But what are you gonna do? I praise them
Bitch
for
about it.
bitch about it. I praise them. I'm glad you made that video because your video was more to the point, but like I recorded that video to Mike Lombardo back a couple weeks ago. Basically, like I agree with you. I think that these are silly. Like my response was just to like be a jackass, but
I do that sometimes.
you do that sometimes. It's ridiculous. These people are like, I I don't know if I've used this analogy before. I feel like I have, but like those big channels are they're the football team to our chess club. We need them to survive. There
That's
would
the
be no
reason that we are able to do this.
there would be no YouTube without the football team. We need the football team to generate hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue so you can have crew or whatever. Like people get that intuitively in other contexts, and maybe they still complain about the football team and popular kids, but it's like, but yeah, you're just complaining about the football team and popular kids. Get over it. Like, just be happy that you have this. You could have nothing. You would like remember when there was GeoCities and we were all like in the dark age of the internet. If you're old enough or Angel Fire, like, do you remember how bad the internet used to be? Get over yourselves, God.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not real happy with that whole attitude. I'm excited for this whole like basically TV station approach to YouTube because I think what they're trying to do is bring in new consumers and get new demographics on the site.
Well, let's talk about that next week and maybe bring in Apple TV and like Google TV. We'll have a whole thing on like content next week.
Cool.
Okay. So speaking of content, Netflix. Let's talk like for like just a minute about Netflix, okay?
We can't let an episode go by.
No, 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 no. So the thing I wanted to bring up, and then we'll talk some more about other things on Netflix, is that Red State, which we talked about last month in the horror month of Shawn and Carter Have a Podcast. Red State, the movie we watched, is now available on Netflix streaming. It's everywhere. It's great. So if you don't
You
want
can
to
watch it
buy
on your
it,
toilet
watch it on your toilet. If you didn't want to buy it on iTunes and you didn't want to pay for it on demand, now you can stream it. Netflix streaming. There you go.
here in America.
In America, there you go. But the, the subsequent thing that this brought up. So I was on Netflix today watching our Coen Brothers movie, and then I scrolled through my
You know what?
homepage.
I didn't even know that it was on Netflix until I went to look for it, and then I was like, "Oh, phew."
Yeah. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou is not. So for next week,
I think
everyone's
my
gonna have
mom
to.
has a copy. It's
I have two
possible.
copies. um, but I don't think I have the time to drive up and get it to you, so you better ask your mom.
Okay.
I was scrolling down through all of the like categories, and I came across one of these. Um, I don't know what Netflix calls them. Inferred categories or like inspired categories. Categories that it said like I
I'm
think
gonna
so
say
like
grab bag
grab bag. Netflix will like look through all of the videos that you've watched and
rated and
starred,
yeah,
right? And then say, "Oh, you seem to like, horror movies as like a broad category, right? Like
right.
if you looked through my Netflix thing and the things I liked, you'd be like, "Oh, he likes horror movies, he likes um modern sitcoms, he likes documentaries." But Netflix, for some reason, has decided that they want to get really, really specific with these
Incredibly specific.
with these categories. So I had one of them. I mentioned this to Sean before we started, and he was like immediately like, "Oh, I got stuff to say." So I'm like, "Okay, good." I had a category called visually striking movies, and it
Yes.
was based on my
I've seen this
interest.
category. I'm
It
familiar
was
with it.
based on my interest in Black Narcissus, which I'm like, yes, that is a very visually striking movie. I agree with you, Netflix. And Paranormal Activity, I'm like, that's more unusual. I don't know why you included that.
What?
But I'm still like, yes, I if you if a man on the street asked me like, do you like visually striking movies? I'd be like, yeah, I like visually striking movies. Go on, man on the street. So and then it offered me a couple movies.
When that category showed up for me, it was because I had recently watched a couple like French movies like Amelie and like
Mhm.
those kind of beautiful cinematography videos, and they all suddenly that was all Netflix thought that I wanted to watch.
Right. I don't understand why it included Paranormal Activity in there. Black Narcissus makes a lot of sense to me, and I we
Yeah, I mean that was nominated for the Oscar, so
right. Yeah, I get that. But like the thing that so Paranormal Activity, I'm like that's odd. But the thing that got me was the one of the movies it suggested. So it said I might like X.
scary movie.
No, that was one of my movies, but it was in a separate category. It said I would like Exit Through the Gift Shop, that Bansky movie
That's a
documentary.
visually striking film.
Agreed. Clockwork Orange. Totally.
Sure.
Totally. You're right on Netflix.
Anything that's in 4:3.
Blade Runner. I'm like, yeah, come on, come, bring it. You're pushing all my buttons. And Panic Room.
Okay.
Panic Room. What? Netflix? What? Really? Panic Room? And Con Air maybe, or like what? Like it's just like it was just like one of these things is totally not related to the others. Like what?
Maybe Netflix has a crush on Jodie Foster and thinks that she is visually striking.
Netflix tried to shoot President Reagan because of whatever. That was Jodie
Taxi
Foster.
Driver.
Taxi Driver.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I've got a category right now called mind bending. So that's one category, one part of it. Foreign, so they all have to be foreign. Action and adventure. So I've got three qualifiers on that. Would you guess that there are any films in this list I've ever heard of? Because the answer is no.
I would think that the
How about Shaolin Grandma
what?
or
Grandma?
Night Watch?
No, I know Night Watch. That's a Russian movie. It's about vampires.
I've also got witty showbiz dramas, which includes both TV shows and movies.
I just have Witty as one of them. I'm doing this from memory, but
Just witty.
Witty and I remember like crap. What's the name of this movie? Don't be a menace to South Central. Blah 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 blah. It was like a mashup movie. It was like a satire mashup of a lot
Don't
of.
be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood.
Yes, yes, yes. It was like a satire on like Friday and
Sure,
what
yeah.
all those
Oh
movies
my
from the
gosh, I've
90s.
never even heard of this.
Oh man,
It's the Wayans brothers, of course.
it's really funny actually. It's really good. And
I'm
it is
putting it in my instant queue right
put it
now.
in your Instagram. Oh man, see like I'm telling you, this podcast is like it's this is huge, man.
I actually like Friday a lot.
Friday's great.
I
Friday
watched
and
that for the first time just a couple months ago, and I was like, that was not bad at all.
Friday is great. Next Friday is good, and day whatever Friday after next is like one of the
Friday
worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
after. Well, it's gonna deteriorate.
It went fast. It was like, oh, this is great, and then oh, this is fine, and then it was like, what the hell? What did
Yeah,
you do? And
someone
also,
killed this property.
yeah, and also like I think probably 90% of our audience has never seen or even heard of those movies.
You
It's
don't
like
think our audience is black?
and from the early 90s.
Well, if any of them know who Omar Epps is, go ahead and get at us hashtag SCHP and
Yeah,
tell us that you know who that is.
yeah. So long story short, Netflix comes up with wacky categories. There was something in my witty
I
that
feel
was
like sometimes it's trying to the reason they do that is because they're trying to push some of their like least viewed content. Because I look at those lists and I'm like, I don't know what 90% of these titles are, and that's probably exactly why they're there.
I don't know, man. I frequently know what those are. Maybe mine are more narrowly tailored. I kind of use Netflix just to watch very specific things, but I don't know.
Hey, I've got Panic Room recommended right now in my top 10. What's
Maybe
up with that?
do you want to watch Panic Room?
You know what? I bet it was in the category because it was directed by David Fincher.
Maybe. No, but like I'm serious. Do you want to watch Panic Room like for the podcast? Like the first week of December?
Okay.
Oh man, let's do for December. Let's the two of us pick two of our crazy categories and we'll watch a movie in them.
Okay.
And then we know they'll be on streaming so people can watch them.
Yeah.
Ah, we're thinking ahead now.
We could do never mind, I don't want to suggest that and
We're
then
we'll
be
figure
held
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But Panic Room will almost certainly be in it since it's like Netflix thinks for different reasons both of us should watch it. That's
right next to Panic Room, by the way, is My So-Called Life with Claire Danes.
yeah. That's
That's
that
my top 10.
I feel like bringing mine up now. We don't have time. We have to move
No,
on.
let's keep moving.
We wanted to get a little hit on this because I don't I think we had like two or three podcasts without mentioning it. Minecraft. Remember when this used to be the Minecraft show, Sean, and then turned to the Netflix show?
I don't know what that is.
Minecraft. You don't know what Minecraft is? This is
Nope.
game. It's full of voxels.
Voxels.
Voxels. Oh, I'll have something to say about this next week. But I downloaded not Voxatron and not the Humble Bundle either, but I downloaded The Binding of Isaac. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's in the Humble Indie Bundle or whatever. I think that's what it's called. It's. Have you heard? You've seen Voxatron? That's been like all over
Yes.
YouTube.
Yes. Yes.
It's
Yes. Yes.
very similar to Voxatron. It like the gameplay is very similar. It's WASD for movement and arrow keys for shooting,
Mm-hmm.
just like Voxatron. But the story is, the story of Abraham and Isaac,
Sure.
the Bible story. Um,
Go kill your son.
Go kill your
Oh,
son.
never mind. I changed my mind.
Well, more philosophy student here. I studied this. Kierkegaard, Fear and Trembling. Come on, it's not. It's more complicated than that. But whatever. Um, the game is about or it starts at the premise is there's a mother in the current day and she has a son Isaac, um, and he is just like a 6-year-old boy and he just like is living his little 6-year-old
He was
life.
born 6.
Hmm?
That's crazy. He was born at the age of 6.
Yeah, he was born at the age of 6. He is 6. And his mother watches evangelical gospel like TV all the time and only that, and she hears like God tell her that her son is corrupted by sin, and this is like in the opening like video or the opening like cutscene. It's actually and it's all hand drawn. It looks like a flip book.
Okay.
Um, God tells her like your son has sinned, like take away all of his stuff, lock him in a room, and then eventually kill him. And
As
he's
God does from
as,
time to time.
as yes. So he escapes through a trap door, and that's where the game begins. And you're like in this like creepy underground area under the house that's for some reason huge, and you're trying to escape. You're Isaac. You're this trembling little 6-year-old character, and you are battling all of these evil like weird creatures in the basement, and you're instead of like bullets or lasers, you shoot tears out of anyway, I downloaded. I've played through like basically the first phase. It's very interesting. The music is very very good. I'm wondering where it's gonna go, but yeah. But
Sounds creepy and weird.
yes.
If that's what they were going for, it sounds like they succeeded.
Yeah. Let's bring it back to Minecraft, which is in. I'm not. I'm both happy and not happy with Mojang because I really like the conceit that they've added to the game. This end,
Oh
right?
my god. Yeah?
I like it. I
You're
like that.
okay with it?
I'm okay with it. I'm like, yeah, that's good. I like that. But I hate the fact that I don't like the release strategy that they're using, and I think that they were really stupid. And they should once again they should look to Apple on this. They should not have got locked into Minecon if they wanted to add all this stuff to the game. They should have when they said like we're gonna go to Minecon and do this thing. They should have said, fine, if we want to add all this additional stuff, we'll do it after 1.0, but let's not release it all right before Minecon because there's going to be so many bugs and Like it's just not going to be. It's not going to be polished. And Minecon is like in a week, right? Or 2 weeks. It's soon.
Yeah, it begins on Friday.
Yeah. So they
That's
just
the day it's supposed to come out, the 18th.
yeah, they're in Minecraft 1.9 beta pre-release 6.
Yeah.
What the you know the word I'm about to say.
What's wrong with releasing six versions of a of the same patch?
Well, there's nothing wrong with it, but I, first of all, I think the branding has like gone off the rails a little on this, which is just like a separate thing. But it's like if they wanted to add all this stuff, they decided when Minecon was going to be, didn't they?
Yeah, and actually it was originally going to be this weekend.
They decided that. And then the only reason we know this is because Notch frickin' says
Because
everything.
they work so transparently.
Like we're gonna lock the game real like this was like 2 months ago. We're gonna lock the game and then polish it so that when Minecon comes around, we can release 1.0 and it'll be great and perfect. And then we will rev it.
But there will be a piston duplication bug, and the lighting system won't work right, and you'll spawn inside walls 50% of the time, and
Right. So like that's what they should have done. And I when they started doing these additional iterations, I was like, "No, stop. What are you doing? You said you were not going to do this and you did it anyway." Um like yeah, I think this is just like so not the right strategy on this. So not the right strategy. And I think that it will work for them because of their community, you know?
their community definitely likes them.
They love them and they have like this has worked for them, but I think that it's like the wrong lesson to learn to take from this. Even though I like what they did, I think it's cool. Like, oh, you get to fight a dragon and it's really complicated. Do you not like it?
I don't particularly care. I don't see what effect it has on the game.
That's true. But like if you want to play Minecraft as a game with an objective that is not internally set, you can now do that. Because previously, like this is how far Minecraft has come. Previously, the external objective was to get diamond, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty easy. Like you can do that in like 20
Uh,
minutes.
Unknown Demon will show you how to do it in like 8. He's good.
Yeah, you can get diamond real quick. Like it's not hard. Fighting to completion the Ender Dragon in the end is not easy. Like you've got to kill Enderman and you've got to find a stronghold and you've got to like get to that dimension and like turn off all the health spawners and then like fight this thing. Like it's complicated. So
You appreciate it.
I appreciate that they seem to care about
An
these
ending,
things. About
an
these
end
things.
game.
Yeah, but I just pre-release
I
six.
operate so much in the multiplayer world that I know that this has nothing to do with what I do.
Yeah. Hopefully they focus a little bit on server stuff soon.
It would be nice.
It would be nice. It would be nice, guys. Um, moving right along in the world of games, uh, big thing happened this week. Big patch.
Oh, yes. Well, a big thing happened last week. We heard about it this week.
Oh, it was last. I did. Oh, I guess I didn't realize that.
It happened a week ago. It happened a week ago.
I've been in a cabin in the woods. I don't know what's going on.
I didn't get my actual announcement. We're talking about Steam. I was not alerted on Steam until Thursday, and it had happened last Sunday.
I found out by people tweeting it at me.
Yes,
It's like
I got actually that was the first place I heard about it.
it was Ricari. Hey man, like don't just tweet pictures. Like that was important. You should like Andy. Andy was more like, "Hey, Steam got hacked," and like Ricari just like, hey, like here's a picture. I'm like, what? Is it gonna be like a lol cat? No, it's like this
Yeah, I didn't
letter.
know what it was either. And then suddenly I was like, how do I change my password?
Yes. Um, I was not super worried about it just because I know a lot. I like deal in this industry. Like I knew that my data was probably fine, but I did change my password.
Even as I changed my password and it made me jump through several hoops in order to do it, I was like, okay, well, I feel pretty safe about this.
Right. Well, I mean, like they didn't credit card information didn't get stolen, just like passwords and stuff. Like
Right.
so I was not worried because Steam has this layer of protection where if so like I like the scenario that we'd be trying to prevent is like someone downloading Steam using our credentials and then downloading games and paying for them with our credit card. But
Yeah.
when you download Steam onto a new computer, it emails you and says, "Hey, you can't use Steam on here until you use this code that we sent to your email."
Right.
So I was like, well, like this is probably fine. Were the passwords in plain text?
No, it said, I think they were partially, what's the word?
Obscured, encrypted,
Yeah,
something. Okay,
sure.
cool. Because like if like my Steam password is very close to my password that I use for banking, it's not the same, but
So if you're going to start guessing, kids,
right. There's actually a great XKCD comic about this.
there's a great XKCD comic for everything we talk about.
I know, like it's the man in the hat. Uh, the like he's like the bad like one of the like he's like the bad guy in XKCD, or he's like a bad person. Um, he is talking to someone about doing something like this, and his plan is to, and it is brilliant. Um, create like a really simple service online, like something that like a web service that like aggregates tweets based on like certain information you give it or whatever. Like I want like, oh, I'll have this service that whenever I put in these few hashtags, it'll like send me an email at the end of the day with like all the important stuff that happened on Twitter. And he's like, maybe most people won't use it, but if I get like a really low threshold, I'll have like 20 million users, and most of them will use as their username and password for everything, and have all
Oh,
that information, and then I can hack all of their bank accounts.
that is quite a scheme. I'm going to do that.
So if Sean ever,
Screw this YouTube thing.
if you ever see, like svm.biz,
that
Sean is just trying to screw you.
that's my scheme.
All right. We've got two more topics before our main topic. I think we got to cut one. We're gonna talk about Flash, but let's just say Flash on mobile is dead.
Hey, Flash died.
Yay! I'm so happy.
In case you didn't see the headline.
Flash on mobile devices is dead. Adobe.
Some newfangled thing called HT. I don't even know what it's gonna. That it's all the rage. It's what all the kids are using these days.
Oh man, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard, man. You don't know this. It's HTML5,
Of course,
which is
I know it. I had a book when I was in like fourth grade. All I wanted to do was learn HTML, and I have a giant book at my parents' house that is just like the HTML5 like guide or HTML4 guide.
yeah, we are in some ways exactly the same person.
I
I can
was on GeoCities.
GeoCities.
You had me
I
back there when you were talking about it. I was like, that was me.
I had GeoCities websites. Yeah, I too can code HTML and some JavaScript, and HTML5 is amazing and great. It's a web standard. It's not owned by anybody, and I knew that this was going to happen. Not because I'm an Apple fanboy, just because of the way that the web reacted to it.
I
Uh,
think a lot of people had an
Everybody,
idea.
I think most people know, except for like crazy people. I'm looking at you, Android fanboys, because most websites now, because of the iPhone and iPad revolution, they will detect what sort of device you're on, and if you're on a mobile device, they will offer you, if they normally serve Flash animation, if they detect that you're on a mobile device, they will serve you HTML5. And that's how I knew, like, I think that we're probably moving in that direction. And then, like, basically this year, I was noticing a lot of websites were like, "Oh, this isn't even Flash on a computer anymore. It's HTML.
Yeah.
It's serving you HTML5." So
It's comparable to like, VHS and Betamax or Blu-ray and HD DVD. Like one format was already had a leg up and the other one had to go.
yeah, Flash was never gonna be. I don't want to get into it. Flash was never gonna be the standard. Like it was. It like it just destroys batteries, and it's not. That was never gonna happen. So I'm happy. And
Now we need one person in our audience to stand up for it.
right, stand up for Flash. Come on.
Someone make us think about
Yeah, I mean, even Adobe isn't standing up for its own thing. Like,
it.
come
They're
on.
taking it out back and shooting it.
Someone tweeted that Apple won, and I did not have this thought, but I felt this. I'm stealing this from. I think John Gruber actually said this, but it was like, no, Apple didn't win. Everybody won. It's going to be better for everybody now that Flash is not going to be the thing people use to serve up video and like animated content online. It's just like this is going to be good for everyone.
Yay.
Yay! All right. Before we get to our main topic, we got a random question, man, from Ron.
We have a lot of random questions from
Oh,
Ron.
I
We're
got.
never going to use them all. Maybe some of the maybe it's like a quality versus quantity kind of thing.
Well, you know,
We also saw a lot of activity in Spanish on our hashtag today or this week.
that's true. Almost as much as the Highway Patrol. So
Yeah.
well,
So Ron, not even on Twitter, but on a sign on the server, asked what my favorite produce item was.
can I just say,
You can say, Carter, you're entitled.
I am not on the server, and I would not have had an opportunity to see that. And yes, I
You're on the server. You just choose not to visit it.
I am.
Of course you are.
I didn't. Did you tell me that?
I, you just got on the whitelist because you were on my old whitelist.
Oh, oh. Well, now I feel
Would
like it.
would it have mattered?
Now I feel like a bad person. No, not really. I don't. Okay, fine. I will. I'll start over. Can I say I don't go on the server?
That's a better start.
So
More honest.
that is not a very that's not a very public way of.
Well, I put it in a video.
I know I saw it.
Made it public. I made it public.
I know. I'm just saying Twitter is like I'm all about the Twitter. Like come
I
on.
think it was just that was where he was at the time that he thought of the question, and when divine inspiration hits, what are you gonna do? He didn't have time
To like
to alt tab
to
to
alt
Twitter.
tab to Twitter. Well, anyway,
There's no time.
there's no time. There's no time. I have to craft this, or well, I guess you can grab it from your box or whatever. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. So
What's his
I
question?
I work in a produce department for anyone who's not clear why he would ask me that question. And one of the funniest things about me working in a produce department is I don't eat that much produce at all. It's kind of strange.
That's
Like
unreal.
the entire citrus category, I just avoid it. It's not my thing.
You don't like citrus?
Not really.
What?
I like the flavor of citrus. I don't like eating oranges and grapefruits and stuff like that.
What's your opinion on clementines?
Nope.
You don't like clementines?
No, not really.
Oh man, what a great fruit.
Isn't it weird?
I find that weird.
There are plenty of things that I like there, but the reason I wanted to answer the question is be, because I work in the department and I package so many of these things, there are certain items that I prefer to work with. So like for instance, one of my favorite things to wrap just because I can do it incredibly fast is plum tomatoes. I have no kind of affinity for plum tomatoes. Sure, they're fine in a salad or on a sandwich or whatever, but for some reason they're like one of my favorite things to produce in the department. So when I read that question, my first thought in my head was I really like plum tomatoes.
So then I have to ask, is there a produce item that you prefer to eat in the real world, and is it different from plum tomatoes?
Oh, well, I definitely like apples.
Apples? What kind of
Yeah.
apple? What kind of apple man
My
are you?
favorites would be I really like Pink Lady.
Mm-hmm.
We get Honey Crisp for a couple months
Ooh,
of the year, and those are very good.
yes.
Fuji and Gala, like any red, sweet, crunchy apple.
So, like, I was talking about this with one. I have my answer too, but I don't work in the produce department, so I only can say what I like to eat. I guess I can say what I like to handle, but that's weird. Um, I really like holding a zucchini, but I don't like eating them. Um, that was weird to say, Carter. Why did you say that? I was talking with my my closest coworker. I sit right like next to her all the
Ooh,
time. We're no.
you said
um,
close.
we're very close. We're very, very close. We didn't see each other for like 3 days. We were like traveling around the state, and then uh, we met in Northern Virginia. And immediately, our instinctive reaction was to hug. It was like, "Oh, I haven't seen you in so long. Oh my god," um,
Hmm.
which is weird. I understand.
This
Uh,
podcast is getting a little steamy.
I I know she doesn't listen to this podcast, so I hope she doesn't mind me saying, but she no, oh, never mind. I'm not gonna go that way.
I wasn't gonna try to discourage you. I wanna, this could be a big PR event for us.
Yeah, it's really not. Um, so anyway, we were talking about apples, and I feel like I kind of asked a leading question. I'm like, well, like, what's your favorite apple? And I meant, what is your favorite red apple? Because who has a
Oh
favorite eating
no.
green apple, right? And she was like, "Oh man, yeah, I love green apples like a Granny Smith." I'm like, "You like eating Granny Smith apples?"
Those are for baked goods,
Those
clearly.
are for pies. What are you? And she was like, no, green apples, totally.
What
There
a
is,
weirdo.
yeah, weirdo. Like my so my favorite
Tweet us your favorite apple. We'll make fun of you.
yes, my favorite produce item is a grapple,
Oh, those are good.
right?
You know that they are flavored artificially,
I
right?
know that I've been on people.com and I know how they make them. I understand that.
You
I
know
know.
what's bizarre? The grapple, my superiors for some reason cannot grasp the fact that it's supposed to be pronounced grapple, even though it says it below the word, and they call it a grapple.
I called it a grapple until I saw the pronunciation, and I'm like, oh, it's grapple.
It's got the symbol over the A. It has a little thing underneath that's like pronounce it like grapple, and it's spelled out, and it also tastes like a grape.
Yeah, now it makes sense that it would be pronounced grapple because they want to stress the fact that it's an apple that tastes like a grape, not that it's an apple that's grap.
Yeah, but basically they soak like a Fuji apple or Red Delicious or something in like a bath of artificial flavoring until it tastes like a grape.
But it does taste like a grape.
And it does. It really does. It's surprisingly good. It's just
Although
weird.
they come in like a 4 pack that's like $5 or something
Yeah, they're
insane.
not cheap.
They're not cheap. All right, so
That's really funny that you mentioned that. That's weird.
yeah, thank
I
you.
feel like you have to work in a produce item or have kid or department or have kids to know about graples.
The reason why I know about Graples is I can't quite remember what the circumstances were, but I was like I was picking up I was with someone picking up a kid from a soccer game,
That's totally
like a
the situation.
6-year-old kid, and he was like, actually I now know, but I'm not gonna get into it because it's like it doesn't matter. But so it was like, oh yeah, I've got this grapple, and I'm like, what's a grapple? And they're like, it's an apple that it tastes like a grape. I'm like, that's impossible.
And they proved you wrong.
And they were like, "No, try it." And I'm like, "Oh my god,
Your
this
eyes were opened.
this apple tastes like a grape." I my high school girlfriend hated the sound of someone biting an apple, like
It
that
can
sound.
be pretty awful. I think they might use that sound effect for some of the effects in The Walking Dead, actually.
Oh really? Thank
You
you
know,
for
like
bringing up a show that I'm not
zombies
watching.
gnawing on bones and that stuff.
Yeah, it's in that realm of like Velcro, like those sorts of sounds. All right. It only took us, I don't know, probably like
I don't want to
40
talk about
minutes.
it.
But now we're finally to our main topic, which which we'll probably spend less time on than we did with the grapple. But that's because Sean and I have strong opinions about produce.
Right.
Um, so a big thing happened this week, and actually, I think we should probably get a little serious before we start discussing it. But
Let's just bring it down. Switch from kids sporting events to whole sports franchises.
yeah, so I'd like to open this part up. We're going to talk about public communications generally. Sean and I talk about that a lot, but there was like two things that happened this week that are really that plug into this. Um, and I'm an Ohioan. I'm from the greatest state in the country, Ohio.
I'm
And
I'm not going to fight you.
thank you. And I'm a Buckeye. I don't follow a lot of sports really, but I do follow Buckeye football. I'm not following them this year because I'm in protest because of the scandal that they had last year, which sort of pales in comparison to Penn State in every way imaginable. But I'm not I'm sitting out this season just because I'm so upset with what happened. But regardless, the Big Ten is a big part of my life. It's a big part of the lives of a lot of people who live in the Midwest. And it came out, grand jury uh, proceedings are secret, but it finally came out that a former assistant coach at Penn State, had been raping children on the Penn State facilities about 10 years ago. The coach, Joe Paterno, Joe Pa, I will never call him Joe Pa again because I'm so disgusted with what happened. He was alerted to this. He just told the athletic director and never followed up, and it continued. And then this guy retired and became a professor at Penn State and had offices and facilities there. And finally, now he has been arrested. I believe that Joe Paterno and the AD and I think a vice president of the institution, Penn State, are now also, they're not arrested, but they're under indictment for being accessories to this really awful, awful situation.
And the
Like,
guys who were informed of this and didn't do anything were fired,
yeah,
including Joe Paterno.
Joe Paterno has been fired, and can I just say that the reaction of the students on I think Wednesday. They rioted because he was fired. Like
Yes.
you're all going to hell. Like seriously, you are putting football ahead of you know a, a guy who protected a rapist.
Yeah, I've
Like
got I've got this really weird expression on my face right now because this is such like an awful thing.
this is so awful. And all like a friend of mine G chatted me this the other day, I guess on Thursday. I did not know this. This is truly sick. Um, this guy was an assistant coach and he wrote an autobiography in
Jeez.
2001, right before, like, while this was happening and right before he retired. He wrote an autobiography and it's called Touched. I mean, like, this is one of the most reprehensible human beings, and one of the like I can't think of a recent thing that's more, just makes me feel more physically sick than this.
Yeah, not good stuff.
No. Well, that's just the background. We're not talking about this guy.
We're presenting you with all these heinous crimes so that you can sleep better at night.
Right, right. Um, what happened
The reason we're talking about it
in the aftermath of this is Ashton Kutcher.
somehow this ties into Ashton Kutcher.
Stay with us, folks. He decided to tweet about it. And
because you know you're a celebrity in Hollywood with 8 million followers. You got to have an opinion on everything.
does he have the most followers of anyone on Twitter?
No,
No. Do you know?
as far as I know, it's either Justin Bieber or Lady Gaga. I'm gonna check right now.
Well, anyway, someone with a hell of a lot of followers, and I would say uninformed. I'm not sure of this. I would bet that more people follow him than watch their certainly like watch the local news or a lot of people get content from him. A lot of people get news from him
Yeah, totally.
based on what he's tweeting or what he's retweeting. And he tweeted something like, "Oh, I don't even. Do you have the exact tweet? I don't have it.
No, I don't. I don't.
He basically said like, "Oh, what they're doing to Joe Pa is horrible. I can't believe they
Right.
fired him." And it was like the whole internet took a breath, like what?
Ashton was tweeting this based on his assumption that they fired him because he was too old for
And
some reason.
yeah, and I'd like to say that I have to believe um that he was just totally not following this. I do
There's no way he
se-
would have. No way.
not for a second. Like I'm not like what we're talking about right now has we are not questioning whether like Ashton Kutcher was,
Supporting child rape.
right or football over that. He
Right.
was not he was not expressing the emotions of those students who rioted and flipped cars because Joe Pa was fired. He I believe he genuinely just is an idiot and wasn't following the news and decided to tweet something.
Ashton is number 10. He is the 10th most followed. The number one is Lady Gaga. Number two is Justin Bieber. And then Barack Obama is right in there at number 5. But all the top people are celebrities.
Unsurprisingly, based on the way that people use Twitter. Um,
YouTube en español is number 15.
that is shocking. Really?
Apparently.
I
7 million followers, 7.1 million. Yeah.
That's more than how many is YouTube on that?
YouTube is number 18, 6.7 million.
YouTube on Espanol has more followers than YouTube?
Not just regular YouTube, Twitter in Espanol.
Oh, Twitter. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Crazy, crazy. Well, anyway,
Yeah, he's down there number 10.
number 10. But that's 10 out of 400 million.
Yeah.
He is way up there. He has 8 million people who are following his tweets. And I like what the way I'd like to sort of like break this down is like this was a gaffe, right? He should not have done this. This was a public facing communication that was wrong. He shouldn't have done it. It was a mistake. Uh,
His tweets should go to an assistant who approves them.
right. Well, anyway, he had the gaffe. There was the spin, or like him trying to, or maybe the recovery period, and then the outcome, or like what it led to. And I kind of want to like break it down like that because I have another person who had a very similar situation who handled it very differently. Um, so he did this, and then his recovery. I don't know if you followed this. I started following this. I was in a cabin in the woods at a retreat, and I had no internet, but I did have my phone. And once we broke, I like went on Twitter, and it was like, oh my god, there's like crap happening with Ashton Kutcher, and I started watching him. And he was retweeting and even retweeting with some of his own. He was like putting some stuff in there too, like retweeting with additional comments, all of the people saying that he's an idiot and that this is like what he did was a huge mistake and he's basically a big a jerk and stupid, right?
Yeah.
Him thinking like if I just acknowledge this and say I'm sorry, I can get past this. That did not work at all.
Yeah.
That did not work at all.
The
Um,
internet doesn't forget.
yeah, and not 8 million people. Like I think that the problem here is really just like the volume. Like tweeting that
Everyone's going to talk about the fact that he did the first thing. No one's going to like spread on the, oh, did you hear he apologized because he made a mistake?
right. Like like it was going to go out to 8 million people. It was going to get retweeted to probably who knows, double that, more than double that. I saw it and I don't follow him. Um, and there was news about it. So there was no way that a Twitter strategy could like stop that. Like retweeting the bad tweets and acknowledging them was no way that was going to sate people. Things just bubbled up and got to an uproar to a point where he has now said, "I will no longer be tweeting, at least for now, from this account until I figure out how to like better tweet." And I believe now he has given over his account to a public relations firm.
Because how much do you think it's worth?
Oh, a lot. Oh, hell, a lot.
He's probably already living off of the money he makes from his Twitter account.
He could be, and it also is just like a huge, you know, amount of it. It impacts him as a brand, you know.
Hmm.
So he has. I think that the idea of like celebrities and like Barack Obama, his Twitter account is usually staff, communication staff tweeting, but
Right.
when he actually tweets, he does dash bo.
Oh, nice.
So it's very infrequently, and yes, it's approved by a communications team, but sometimes he does actually tweet on that account, and I think that that is a big deal. You know, it's like knowing that you're hearing from these real people connects you to them. Like when I
Yeah.
see the YouTube account tweet, I'm like, whatever. You're just like a company or a corporation. And I'm like, you go to hell. So I think that this is like a bad thing for Twitter. That we now know that Ashton Kutcher is probably not going to be actually tweeting from his account. It's
Hmm.
going to be filtered and managed, and there's going to be this middleman between him. You know, like you're not actually hearing him. And it's because of this huge mistake he made, which he didn't have to make. This was an unforced mistake. And the point I want to make is that he has a responsibility. If he wanted to tweet on his own, he has
He's got to wear the big boy pants.
he has a responsibility to open up Google and type in Joe Paterno fired and see what the news stories are before he says something, because he's tweeting it to 8 million people.
Right.
You know,
He
like
doesn't want to misinform or misinterpret.
he had that responsibility and he abdicated it, and there was a huge backlash. And now I think that this one moment is probably going to make Twitter worse because,
It is our like Janet Jackson JT.
yeah.
It's our wardrobe malfunction for Twitter.
Oh man, totally. Because it's like, now, how many people who actually were tweeting are now going to be like, maybe I should get a public relations firm to tweet for me because I don't want to make a mistake like this. When it's just like, no, just like,
Well, that's more people that I don't have to follow then.
yeah,
I noticed when I first joined Twitter, one of the many accounts that it recommended to me based on people I was following was Emma Watson, and I opened her account. I was like, no way! It's just like it's just makeup ads, and like I'm going to be appearing on this show, and, and I was like, I don't need to follow. I don't
yeah.
need to know that.
I use Twitter for two things. I have friends, mostly online friends, who I tweet back and forth with, and then I use it as basically like a news aggregator. I follow a lot of news Twitter accounts of a variety of sorts, so I can log on to Twitter and see what's happening. That's how I found out about Ashton. I don't follow him. I follow a bunch of people who tweeted about him. So I wanted to relate this to something that happened that some of you might know. Uh, a Republican debate just occurred where there was a gaffe, a recovery period, and an outcome. Shawn, you were a teacher for a while. I like to
Yeah.
formalize stuff. Like draw out connections.
Uh huh.
So, um, This podcast is not about politics. This is, and I'm talking about Rick Perry and the Oops gaff. This has nothing at all to do about like Rick Perry's policies, like whether like
It has to do with the policy that he keeps on his own mouth.
right. This has nothing to do with whether it's a good idea or not to cut the agencies he did or didn't remember he wanted to cut. That it has nothing to do with with his politics. It has everything to do with the public communications that he presented, right?
Yeah, we're looking at anecdotal evidence.
Right. So I have not been following these debates super closely, but I know that
Well, when they reach the double digits, how much attention can you pay?
there's a debate happening right now, and I'm not kidding. It's
Wait, are you serious?
in South Carolina. Yes, there's a debate happening right
Oh
now.
my gosh, you're right. It's on Google. Yep.
So,
Can Rick number one question on this five things to watch? Can Rick Perry clear the low bar of expectations?
so like one of the reasons Sean and I talk about this a lot is because we think it's important and like we follow brands. Like Rick Perry is a brand. Even
Yeah, if
though
you want to survive on a 24-hour news cycle, you have to, present a branded image of yourself.
right. Rick Perry's a brand, Ashton Kutcher's a brand, and there are lots of different ways that you can manage a brand. There's lots of different ways that you can be successful or not successful with your brand. And Rick Perry has consistently been very unsuccessful in debates. Apparently, I've not been following them very closely.
He doesn't know how to talk, it would seem.
He can't talk very well, but like that's been established, and actually, you would think that that would be in his favor because if he has a history of being bad at these things, then people won't care if he's bad at these things. So when he does something and everyone notices it, it's got to be really bad, right? So this week, I think on Tuesday or Wednesday, he was at a debate and he was talking about, you know, three government agencies he wants to cut, and he was like, it's commerce, education, and uh
And then he was like, line.
yeah, and I don't like there are a
That
lot
was the moment his wireless receiver stopped working in his ear.
right. I like no reason to get into it, but he couldn't remember, and he said, I don't know, oops, and he literally said oops, and what a gaff. Now, like
Did he do like a sideways smirk to the camera?
uh
My bad.
oops. So that's bad, man. I don't want to get into the whole thing about like, well, if he didn't even know the name of the agency, should he be cutting it? But that's a good point, but that's not what this podcast is about. But like he made a mistake, right?
Brain freeze.
Brain freeze. Made a mistake. People make mistakes. Um, what was his, his recovery on this?
Yeah, how are you going to handle this?
Well, he did two things, and one of them was the most brilliant thing I've ever seen, and before that he did a really stupid thing. Um, so after debates, they have these things called spin rooms where there are journalists and cameras everywhere, and usually you send campaign spokespeople there. He
To fix all the stuff that you messed up.
Right, he actually he went into the spin room. Why? How on
Who didn't
earth
stop him?
thought this was a good idea is beyond me.
His campaign manager is just like, I give up, and throws down his clipboard and walks
His
out.
campaign manager was like, I can't, oops. And then Rick Perry went out there and he said some, whatever. He tried to like talk about his record and blah blah blah, like he's a politician, but he like, obviously people are gonna be like, hey, how about that whole thing where you couldn't remember that agency you wanted to cut? Do you have anything to say about that? And someone came up with this line, maybe Rick Perry himself. I may have forgotten about the department he forgot about was the energy department. I may have forgotten about energy, but I haven't forgotten my conservative principles.
Aww.
That is completely buying into and acknowledging that you made a huge mistake and not owning it, right?
It's like, hey, look over here.
Right? So like this was horrible. All and I saw this all on Twitter on like whenever it happened. I'm like, this is like the worst thing in the world. Like, how did he? This is terrible. Just like Ashton Kutcher, it's like this is a mess. Like he should just give up. But he found a way to recover gracefully, which Ashton didn't. He went on Letterman and he did a top 10 reasons why he forgot the energy department, and he basically like bought he's laughing with us, you know. So
He's one of us, Carter.
like what a like that is, if you were one of his handlers, you're like, I wish we didn't have to do this. But this was a good way to handle
Rick,
that.
couldn't I just have an easy day at work today?
Right. I like good God. Um and it goes to show you that you can get into an Ashton level bad situation. I would say these are completely comparable, and you can get out of it. You know, you can make a mistake and recover from it as long as you know how to recover from it. And I think that the whole idea of like retweeting bad tweets was never going to work for Ashton because he's got 8 million followers. You're never going to satisfy all those people. You needed to find a way to, one, say you're sorry, and two, get past the situation, which he didn't. And then he was totally screwed, so that's why he had to say like, I'm not tweeting anymore. Done. You know, I think that Rick Perry has bracketed a lot of this with that Letterman performance.
Well, now that strategy is taken, and Ashton can't go on Letterman and do the same thing.
He's he certainly
Just break character in the middle of the next episode of Two and a Half Men and just be like, guys, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I didn't know.
actually that might be the thing. Like if they did a Two and a Half Men episode about, I don't know his character, I don't watch it, but like in a similar situation and made light of it while still not making light of the whole raping thing.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
if they found a way to like acknowledge it and have Ashton be the butt of the joke, then that would be, he
So
might,
Chuck Lorre, we're looking at you.
yeah, yeah. But I'm pretty sure they were, yeah, whatever. We'll see. I doubt it. I doubt that they're gonna get there. Oh boy. The final thing I was going to bring up, this is just like literally 30 seconds, is that a similar thing happened on a much lower level to Alton Brown. Do you know Alton Brown?
I know the name.
Good Eats. He's the host of.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Oh, I hate him.
oh man,
No, I don't hate him. I just find him kind of annoying.
I can see that, but I do like him.
I don't hate him.
He is the. It's okay. I don't care. He's also the host of um uh
Concord
Iron
Grape commercials.
Iron Chef.
Yes.
And apparently he was very critical of, he was very critical of someone on Next Iron Chef, and
Was he like being a racist or something?
no, but he wasn't exactly being mean, but people are like upset with him that he was so critical of them. He only has like 50,000 followers. He actually follows, he's so small that he follows me.
What?
Yeah, Alton Brown follows me because I've tweeted at him multiple times. um
Oh, you're like best friends.
No, but I was like, when that email came up, I was like, I literally forwarded it to my mom. I'm like, oh my god, Alton Brown is following me. This is the best day of my life. So he had like a bad day on the show. You know, people were all upset, and they were tweeting at him. He did the Ashton strategy. He retweeted those hate tweets, and it basically calmed the situation down. But
Uh-huh.
that's because he had 50,000 subscribers, not 8 million.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah, I've seen that happen with smaller people already.
yeah.
Uh, like Bill Lawrence, the creator of Scrubs and the more recent poorly named Cougar Town.
Mhm.
He's got like 25,000, and he was trying to convince Disney to let him rename his show, And when he put that out there, he got a lot of like supportive tweets like do what you want, we like your show, whatever. And then he also got a lot of tweets that were like go burn in hell, we hate your show. And all he did was retweet those tweets.
That's
Like all these awful things that people were saying to them, and he was just like, I don't, this is not helping.
perfect. Yeah, but like still like
But
that.
he's only got 25,000. He's not, up in the millions.
Right. Like the way I would think about it is like if I said something stupid, Sean would be like, "Dude, that's stupid." And I would be like, "Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't even know. I apologize." And it'd be like, "Okay." When you have a lot of subscribers, like Alton Brown or Bill Lawrence, you can kind of retweet a few of them and get them onto your timeline in some way with either just retweeting them or like mentioning a few things like, yeah, retweet, yeah, I was so stupid on this, like you're totally right, I'm sorry, do that a couple times. But when you have 8 million subscribers, no, not possible, not possible.
Right, right, right,
Totally
right.
different strategies warranted there, and Ashton totally flubbed it up. He should have looked to the Rick Perry example. So
Be more like Rick Perry, Ashton.
I there are not a lot of situations in the world where I would say be more like Rick Perry, but this is one of them. Okay.
So
Well,
let's get to our entertainment part of this entertainment podcast.
I think we were being entertaining.
Well, sure, of course. But let's get to the categorical part.
Hmm.
We're gonna for those who aren't interested in the American Horror Story discussion, Dad, excuse me. We're gonna go ahead and move that to the end of the podcast. We're gonna talk about the Coen Brothers film, The Man Who Wasn't There, and we'll kind of be as spoiler free as we can because you should see this movie.
Yes, we'll probably spoil American Horror Story, but not The Man Who Wasn't There. I had not seen this movie either. Although it seems like you've probably watched most of the Coen Brothers movies.
I'm pretty sure I have seen all of them.
I was looking through their Wikipedia, and I believe I've seen about half. I've seen about half.
Okay.
So,
I think
oh
next week we'll discuss some of the ones that are up for grabs, and we'll let our audience to decide what the two other movies are that we're gonna watch.
yes, I like that idea. Um,
Next week will be Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Carter's pick,
that is my pick.
which I highly approve of. I'm excited.
I think that might be my favorite Coen Brothers movie, but I'm not sure. Um,
It's definitely the first one that registered with me. I don't remember if I saw any others before that one, but I saw it and I was like, wow, this is
we'll,
a different type of movie.
we'll talk about it next week. I have a
Well,
lot.
this was a different type of movie as well.
This was a very different movie. Although I thought that coupling this with Oh Brother Where Art Thou was unintentionally very smart of us.
Yeah.
Um, I, I'm looking at my notes here. I just have this is a great counterpart to Oh Brother Where Art Thou? Parentheses. We're so smart, Sean and me.
Always
Um,
thinking.
and the reason why I had that in my notes is like, oh man, this is like a total like this is like a classic noir structure. It's like all about irony and fate.
Mm-hmm.
And then I
The
asked myself,
title tells you pretty much everything you need to know.
mhm, and then I asked myself the question: are noir films, or this film specifically, but noir films generally, are they the American version of Greek tragedies?
Could be.
Which I that is what I was thinking throughout this, and I kept thinking about Oh Brother Where Art Thou and whatever. But like this,
Have you seen A Serious Man?
no,
That's just going to confirm your hypothesis.
yeah, yeah. Um, I like just watching this. It just felt like wow, it's just like we're seeing these characters who are basically entrapped by fate, and a lot of their decisions have no meaning at all in their
Yes.
life. They just do things, and those things make other things happen, and they have to deal with them. And then we get to see all of the characters who aren't Ed like deal with them emotionally, and we get to see Ed deal with them like he's my where's my note on this? Uh, so in my notes for the episode, I've talked about this before, but I don't know if I've said this specifically. I keep notes for all of our episodes to keep us on track.
What a nerd.
What a nerd. But like I often editorialize in those notes. And my note for like I've got all of our follow up and then like talk about Ashen, Rick Perry, and then I've got The Man Who Wasn't There by the Camus brothers. Oops, I meant the Coen brothers. This was so much like The Stranger if you have taken AP English or a French student. This I just I in my notes for the movie I'm like this is the American film version of The Stranger.
Totally.
Like I felt that from almost the minute the movie started. Just like
Let's give the barest of details about these characters. The main character is played by Billy Bob Thornton, and his name is Ed Crane, and he is a barber, and he's married to a bookkeeper played by Frances McDormand, who's named Doris. Doris has a drinking problem.
Doris drinks a lot.
Doris drinks a lot, and it's revealed pretty early on that she's having an affair with. Um, does she work with the guy or just know him?
She is a secretary for
Okay.
Tony Soprano.
Yes, Tony Soprano makes an appearance in the film as Big Dave.
Big Dave.
And he's big.
He runs several I think ladies inclined stores, and he has a big idea. He wants to like break into more general department stores, and
Yeah.
with that, Doris will be a more prominent part of the whole structure, and it's going to be great for everybody. And he is friends. His family is friends with Doris and Ed's family,
So they play nice on the surface,
but they're you know there's stuff going on.
but there's stuff. But
Stuff
there's
going on.
stuff. And it takes place it looks like it takes place in the 50s, and not only does it look like the 50s in the film, but the film itself looks like it was made in the 50s.
Ah,
Consistently the entire way through.
my top two the top two things I wrote here was that one, it was shot in color and then
Yes, I
transferred
saw that it was shot
to
in
white,
color.
but that the whole thing just feels like the 1950s.
Yeah,
Like
they really nailed that.
every little detail, the cigarettes not having filters, and like the clothing and the cars and everything. You know the movie Pleasantville.
Yes.
This like they tried to do that, and I think they succeeded in a lot of ways, but this was much more of a success
Yeah,
in the
Pleasantville was about like what was wrong about that 50s perfect cleanly world.
oh, it's a great movie and I love it a lot.
This one just felt like it was yanked right out of the 50s.
Yes, like they just nailed it, like perfect. um
That
like
said, the content of it never would have made it into a 50s film.
oh no,
Thanks to the code.
oh no, no, yeah, that's true. um it's hard to talk a lot about this movie without spoiling.
Yeah, the main impetus of the action is a guy like a quick talking salesman guy walks into the barber shop one day and says how he was just shot down. He was trying to pick up an investor for something called dry cleaning. This is like a typical Coen Brothers move. Like they throw something in your face that is such a common thing. They're like the audience is going to know that this is a good idea. They did that with the hula hoop in another movie. And
Bloodsucker Proxy.
yep.
I have in my notes dry cleaning equals plastics.
Yes. And Ed is just the barber, but he latches onto this idea that this guy needs $10,000 to start up his company. And because he knows that Big Dave is banging his wife, he decides to blackmail him for the money. And that's pretty much all you need to know, because most Coen Brothers movies start with a crime gone wrong and everything gets worse from there.
Yeah, multiple times I wrote down this is escalating awfully fast. It is it. Yeah, if you've seen a Coen Brothers movie, it follows.
It's a typical theme for them, which is fine. It's a
And
story that I can see told over and over again.
yeah, and I would say like yeah, I had not seen this movie before we watched it. And same for you, Sean. And I loved this movie. This
Yeah, it
was
was great.
awesome. Uh,
Definitely one of the best things I've seen Billy Bob Thornton do, and I really like him.
his affectlessness, like,
Hmm.
was incredible. Like, being able to just be completely neutral and
When you kids grow up and study The Stranger, his character is the character from The Stranger.
yeah, he's Marceau completely.
He's unaffected, and I don't know, he seems like unaware of social consequences or or uncaring of social consequences.
Right.
He's
And
just maneuvered through his life by
it,
things that happen beyond his control.
yeah, on the Wikipedia it says that the Coen Brothers were inspired by a picture of like 1940s haircuts or something to make this movie. But
Yeah,
I would not. I mean, like, there's no way. There's no way. Maybe subconsciously or whatever that they weren't taking the stranger as a basis for this. Just because, like, the novel L'étranger, which I had to read in French, which is nonsense, but whatever. Uh, it's a guy in very similar escalating situations narrating to someone. In this movie, we find out who. Uh, in L'étranger, we don't, but he's narrating like what's happening in his life and how he's so detached from it.
right.
Like,
It reads like a confession.
yes, L'étranger does, which it is, and this does, which it is.
Yes.
So, and also, it was just it was great.
Also great acting in the film was Tony Shalhoub.
Oh man, I've
He plays a lawyer that he hires, and his man Tony Shalhoub really went with that part.
he was great. What's out of school? Everything is out of school. Love that line. That's just good. And then he's got this like great, like, when he is with he is trying to, like, I really we really don't want to spoil this, but he is trying to, like, figure out a situation with Doris and Ed, and he's like frustrated, and he's like going down different paths, and like, he says, like, no, 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 you know, I litigate, I don't capitulate. I'm like, that is his trademark. That's like on his business cards, right? I litigate, I don't capitulate. uh, oh, and also, just because this is nearby in my notes, he is such a fast talker. He had this great moment where he was talking to Doris, and he, like, says, like, all this stuff, and then he just goes, well, I'm not putting words in your mouth. And he literally, his head was next to her head, like, oh, I'm not putting words in your mouth. And it reminded me a lot of Chicago,
I was just gonna say that.
in the musical number We Both Reach for the Gun.
Yes.
That, and the way they lit it, it looked like a stage show. Like it looked like a play, like a performance. The way they lit that, like, there was a light coming up from way up top, and it looked like, you ever do theater,
I do
Sean?
theater? No.
No, like in lights,
Appreciate theater? Yes.
in the lighting, there are these things you shove into the lights. Some of them are colored gels to, like, get different colored lights, and some of them are these little shapes, these metal things that you shove into the light to project, like, something on a stage. That's what the bars looked like, um, to me, when Tony Shalhoub was doing that. It looked like a
Okay.
light way up there with, like, a bar, you know, I actually forget what those things are called, but like a bar thing shoved up in there. It looked really stagey to me, and it reminded me of Chicago a lot.
Yeah, in Chicago, this staging requires that the uh, defendant is on the lawyer's lap, appearing as an actual puppet.
That's a great movie.
It is a great movie. I did a like for my freshman film class, the class that really got me into film. We had to do like a 5 movie desert island thing as our first assignment. And because I wanted to make it as clear as possible to the professor that I liked a very diverse range of films, I put Chicago in my 5. And I was like, this is awesome musical theater captured on the screen the right way, and
We
that's why
have,
it won Best Picture.
yeah, we have both uh, done stuff with Chicago in college. I think I mentioned this on a podcast that I wrote an essay comparing
Yes.
Chicago to, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great movie, man. So I would highly, it's on streaming. I would so highly recommend to all of our audience, The Man Who Wasn't There.
I will say, if you're more of a fan of the Fargo side of things, you won't be laughing as much.
No, but I mean, like, there is some black comedy in
There's
this.
definitely enough humor to remind you that it is a Coen Brothers written film.
Right, like, I have a thing here. This is a dark comedy, right? Uh, Two police officers are talking about a crime that occurs in this movie. They say it was a homicide. Well, an embezzlement and a homicide. So yes, there is some dark humor, but it's not like Fargo. It is much more dark, less humor,
But a good movie. Good movie.
and we both loved it. So now we're gonna go more in the comedy side next week
Absolutely.
with Oh Brother Where Art Thou. So go check that out if you haven't seen it. If you have not seen Oh Brother Where Art Thou, what the hell?
One of the many movies that the Coen Brothers worked with George Clooney on, and he's just it
Ugh.
seems like they're prepared to write screwball comedies from the 1940s, and he is the actor who would have appeared in them in the 1940s. He's their Cary Grant.
I I think that it's probably I'll just say right now, it's my favorite Coen Brothers movie.
He says without seeing them all.
It's my favorite Coen Brothers movie that I've seen.
That's allowed.
Thank you. So
I'll allow it.
go watch that. Thank you.
It's
Uh,
not on streaming, so find it
it is not
by
on
other means.
streaming.
Ask your mom; she might have it.
Right. I have two copies, but one of them it's two DVDs, but one of them is a little broke. And I also will not get it to you, so don't ask me. I don't know why I brought it up. So we gotta wrap this up. Here, piggy, piggy, piggy. So yes, we're finishing with American Horror Story and the episode Piggy Piggy.
Oh, thank goodness Eric Stone Street showed up. I love that guy.
Oh, I'm so glad that you like that. So like I tweeted this to Ron. I thought that this is this is I was not a huge fan of this episode. I thought it was kind of
Overall, I mean, definitely we got pretty ramped up on that Halloween episode. I think there was an inevitable drop off, and we found it.
yeah, I thought it was kind of boring and
They needed to like tighten up and clarify a few things that we already knew, I guess, and kind of establish. Never mind. Maybe I'll just wait. Okay, no, I'm gonna throw it out there. Establish that the baby is the Antichrist.
well, I don't we don't know that.
Okay,
Here's the thing that I'm going to throw out there that I thought of immediately based on the name of the episode, the content of the episode, and the thing that the nurse, I guess she was an ultrasound tech, said.
sure,
The name of the episode is Piggy Piggy.
sure.
One of the main things we deal with is a guy named the Piggy Man who terrifies people.
Is this a real urban legend, or did they just make this up for the show?
I
Because
have no idea. I've not heard of it before.
I never heard of it either.
And the ultrasound technician did not. I mean, she said stuff about the Antichrist and Revelation, whatever, but she said that the baby has hooves. Pig,
Yes.
pig, pigs have hooves, right?
Yeah.
I don't think Antichrist when I hear that. I just think like something disturbing or something off, and I think that the nurse. No, it's not the Antichrist. But I think that it is something truly terrifying. I think that technician is probably just like her Catholicism is like obscuring her ability to think rationally about creepy things.
Well, I just did a Google search on Antichrist and cloven hoof, and apparently there's a long-standing rumor that Stalin had a clubbed foot, which apparently gave credence to the rumor that he might be the Antichrist.
Well, a lot of people didn't like him, and he helped kill a lot of people. Oh boy. So yeah, I was bored by this episode. Now, there were redeeming qualities to me, and Eric Stone Street. So I I read some of the reviews of the episode, and a lot of people didn't like his bit on this.
Oh my god, why
I
not?
every every negative thing I've read about that was about how it's unrelated to the plot, which is true. But I love that Ben is basically turning into the like Bob Newhart of crazy people, like bringing in a new person every week, and he's a psychiatrist, and I love that. I think that that's a great. I think that that is a good part of the show. I think that that's a thing that I like, and I don't care that he's not moving the plot forward. That's just a conceit of the show. So I loved
We're just seeing character reactions to events that are happening around them.
yeah,
And if they needed to throw in an extra character to gauge other characters' reactions, why not Eric Stone Street?
that's great.
He was great.
Great.
Also glad to see Sarah Paulson in the cast. I don't know how regularly she's going to show up, but if you've ever watched the Aaron Sorkin failed vehicle Studio 60, she was great on that.
She was so good. Yeah. Do you think that she's another one um of Constance's children? She just doesn't did I got that
I
vibe.
don't know, and I actually did wonder that while we were watching.
I got that vibe from her. She plays a medium who,
Clearly, a medium who actually mediates.
yeah, no, she very clearly was able to she, in a very touching scene, she was channeling Addie, talking to Constance. She was able to know about things that happened with Violet's grandmother when she died, and I assume it's
It would appear that Violet is open to the entanglements of the next world, and she can't seem to turn it off. So
yeah
this
she
medium was trying to offer her some help
yeah
because the same thing happened to her.
yeah she goes down to the basement and she sees all of the dead ghosts.
Oh yeah, they're all just floating around down there.
Yeah, no, no. Um, the episode opens though in 1994, and we called it. 1994. We did it,
Yeah,
Sean. We're
good
smart.
idea.
It opens there with the school shooting, which was tough to watch.
Definitely. There's no way you can watch a school shooting scene in a library and not just go right to Columbine.
No, and I mean like,
It ripped from the headlines.
yeah, Sean and I both are of an age when that was like that. That I think that Columbine was probably more defining for my childhood than 9/11. I wasn't a child when 9/11 happened.
Uh-huh.
Um, and that is tough for me to watch. And also, I really appreciated, and I've watched several times, the Gus Van Sant movie Elephant. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this seemed like it's like they copied a lot of Elephant, tonally in the way that they shot it, and it was very tough. And also, I noticed that. Do you remember in the last episode, one of the dead school kids said that Tate had asked them if they believed in God?
Yeah, one
That
of
didn't
them.
happen.
No, it did not. And actually, I thought of that, but the entire time I was thinking it, I was thinking to myself that the entire scene was better because Tate was completely silent.
That's true. That's true. I bet it's Ryan Murphy logic. Like he really wanted that for the girl to say in that episode, but it was inconvenient here, so we just got it.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't matter
Maybe
that
we
it's
also
not.
didn't see him finish everyone. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it was one of the girls that we saw though.
Okay, but yeah, he just silently marched through this room, and as he stumbled upon the people and they yelled out in protest, he just pointed the gun at them and pulled the trigger.
Yeah, and so that, and then the Eric Stone Street plot, which we are spoiling this, right? We're not.
Oh yeah,
So so
we
Eric,
analyze this.
yeah, Eric Stone Street. His problem is this urban legend about the Piggy Man, who, like, if you say,
It's all urban legends, but that's the particular one they're
right,
focused on.
um, his is like it's like a Bloody Mary thing where if you say here, Piggy, 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 um, in the mirror, that a guy with a pig's head will appear and try and butcher you. He is terrified by that, and he can't look in mirrors, and it's like taking over his life. And he seeks out help from Ben, and just to like, I I loved. He was great. He was so great, and any other actor would have made this feel like so cheap and silly, but he really like brought it home. Um, his arc ends with he does that in a mirror in the Harmon's house, and he actually sees this piggy guy, but then Ben is there and helps him, and he doesn't get butchered.
It wasn't a piggy. It was one of the ghosts. It was a dead girl
Oh,
hanging
then
in the shower.
it was the nurse.
Yes,
Well, anyway, he gets past it, and then Ben says,
because
like,
as we know, they just tend to float around in that house. So
right,
if only he hadn't tried it there.
right. Well, anyway, Ben tells him to like go home and shave and like start kind of like cognitive behavioral theory, like do something that's close to the thing that scares you and will work towards whatever. And he
Baby
does
steps.
baby steps. He does, and then he does here Piggy Piggy Piggy, and it's like a big moment for him. And he's like, I can do this. This is at the end of the episode. I can do this. And he says it, and his house was being robbed, and one of the robbers was hiding in the shower and shoots him in the head.
So what does that go to show you, kids?
Um,
Urban legends are real, but for different reasons.
right. Like the thing that I thought of was between like Tate's actions, the home invasion episode, is that a lot of this series is about like the random violence in American life.
Mm-hmm.
And just like sometimes people just go crazy and there's no explanation.
American Horror Story is a pretty like wide. That's pretty applicable to a lot of things,
Yes. Uh,
and we do have a lot of gun violence.
right. And like the 30,000 feet version of me wants to like bring this back. I think that this is a lot like The Walking Dead,
Mm-hmm.
um, in that we're seeing these sort of extreme things that are out of control, but one of the reasons why they resonate for us is because that we have things out of control in our moment in history. Like sometimes the economy just collapses, sometimes you just lose your job, sometimes we have a wrecked country that we have to pick up, you know, and sometimes you just get shot in the head.
Sometimes your house is robbed and you get
Sometimes
shot.
that happens. And uh, something like a dilemma that the show is kind of bringing up is that like with Tate, is it the house or is it just that is it Tate? Why did he shoot those people? Is it because of some corrupting influence, or like is there nothing wrong with the house and there's just been like a series of coincidences around this house? Like there are people like Constance who are like, no, it's the house. The house is evil and it makes bad things happen. That's sort of like the magical thinking in our society. Like, no, it's because of immigrants. It's because of lazy people who don't pay taxes. It's because of foreign countries. It's because of Muslims, right? That's
Well,
why,
obviously it is.
right? But like
I'm joking, kids.
he's joking.
Don't
I
get angry.
I don't know how much Ryan Murphy and Brad Falchuk are going to get into this because like I think that they like the internal logic of the show is sort of like iffy. But like this
They'll
episode,
let you figure out your own subtext.
right? This is what I brought away from it a lot was just like you know, what if it's not the house? Like, what if the house is meaningless and it's just like maybe there are ghosts and there are alive people, but like people make decisions for themselves and sometimes they make bad decisions and bad things happen. As opposed to the constant explanation of no, it's the house. The house is the reason why evil happens in the world. It's like, well, sometimes evil happens because evil happens. Maybe Tate isn't as good of a son as you thought he was.
But Carter, there is a devil.
Oh boy. And it's inside of Viv's belly.
Oh man. Viv tracks down the tech who passed out, and I'm still very confused about. So she went back and got a an ultrasound that was fine. Is that what they showed in that scene?
It was an amnio.
Okay.
So presumably, hopefully, we'll see something about that on the next episode, since it
Okay.
was like a chemical sort of scan.
But she tracks down this woman, and of course the woman is at a church, and she's just like, I don't know, she's been constantly praying, she's
Yeah,
been in a state of constant communication with God since the moment that she saw what was in Vivian's belly.
and it has hooves.
And it's got hooves.
That's all she
And
knows.
yeah, so according to her and the book of Revelation, this child is the end of times.
And like Vivian, once again, this shows like her ability to like hold different conflicting thoughts in her head. She she wouldn't have sought out this tech if she didn't think that there was something wrong, right? But
She right.
right, but
The moment she saw that church, that would have been the moment she turned around and decided not to pursue it unless she wanted this kind of thing.
right, but the hospital and the doctor, who I am not convinced is not in on this somehow. The nice doctor who's like, oh no, baby, blah blah blah.
She's got
Uh,
little horns under her
I'm
bangs.
she could be. Anyway, like she told Viv like no, there was like a problem with the equipment. You know, it was a something happened with the
It had a
equipment.
hiccup.
Hiccup. Well,
It went oops.
oops. The equipment Rick parried, it Ashton Kutchered, and then whatever. But like Vivian in her soul, in her heart, it was like, no, like that tech wouldn't have fainted if this was just a equipment failure. But when she confronts this woman, she won't accept it. She
She's
says
completely unwilling to deal with this
she's like
conclusion.
no. She's like no, it was an equipment failure. She's like Viv, she's very good at not managing these sorts of situations. And then the woman like leaves the church like shouting like abomination, whatever. I don't know these words. I should have reviewed the episode earlier. She's like shouting things at Viv like your child is the Antichrist. Blah 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 blah.
And possibly only to continue to spur on that thought in our heads, the viewers' heads. Constance is now bringing over the most bizarre things for Vivian and Baby to consume that include like pancreas and later in the episode what appears to be I would guess a sheep's brain.
Moira gives it to her. She assures her it's 100% organic.
I know. It should just to be upfront.
So yeah, so Viv like totally eats this brain.
It she eats it almost without a moment's hesitation, and then at like as soon as she puts down her utensil on the final bite, she's got this look on her face like, "What did I just do?"
Yeah, it's like um oh crap. I'm blanking on his name. Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Ewan
No,
McGregor,
no, no, no. Alec Guinness.
Alec
Um,
Guinness.
it's like Alec Guinness at the end of Bridge Over the River Kwai when he like the Americans have returned and everything's blowing up and there's the bridge and the train is coming and he just like stands back and his eyes are open. He's like, "My God, what have I done?" And then dies. But like that, like Connie Britton had a like, "Oh my God, I ate a brain."
Yeah, like clearly she was not in possession of all of her skills when she decided to eat that brain.
Right. Unclear if that was because of the house or because of the thing growing inside of her. I would say.
True, true.
I would bet on the thing inside of her. Oh, also, um, we've been talking about this like for a while now. I saw a screen cap, which I'll try and find it. I probably won't. But I did. I saw it of when Tate did the thing in the basement in the first episode.
Okay,
Um, and the monster in the basement is very clearly in baby clothes.
okay.
Like that further that like makes me want to say almost definitively that it is the Montgomery's Franken baby.
Yeah, I kind of when I was cutting video for an episode of Five Things, the Halloween episode, I saw a still frame myself in the video that I couldn't tell that it was baby clothes, but it was definitely small, and it definitely looked kind of Frankenstein-ish. It looked like a conglomeration of body parts that did not belong together.
Right. Like I think I said when we did that episode that it looked like a little goblin in like clown clothes, and then now I'm realizing like, oh no, it was baby clothes from like the
Yeah.
20s. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that that is the Montgomery's Franken baby, which just makes me like raises even more questions about like what kind of baby is Viv? Has she got in her belly? Like, what is Constance? What is her like
What
motivation in
is
all of
her
this?
end game?
Yeah, and why does Tate have some sort of control over the monster? I still don't know any of this. And actually, we have not talked about this, and I don't care to a lot. But like most of this episode was about Violet and Constance. I just thought it was so boring. I'm sorry. I was just like, okay, whatever. Violet has problems. She now know. Like, I think the important thing to say is like she now knows for sure that the house
She's
is like
the only
creepy.
person in the house that definitely knows supernatural, like the full extent of how supernatural the activity is that's going on around them.
Right. She knows that. She knows that Tate is dead.
She knows that she has a ghost boyfriend,
She
which
has a
I
ghost
think should be the spin-off Ghost Boyfriend.
ghost boyfriend. Maybe she like gets friendly with all the ghosts in the basement or something. It's like Three's Company, but with ghosts.
I think out of the three of these characters living in the house, if any of them is going to die first, it's going to be her.
Violet.
Yes. I don't know that any of them are going to die. I don't know what. At a certain point, it seemed like Ryan Murphy was fine with killing all of them, but
Yeah.
I think that's changed.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
It will not be Viv.
She might die in childbirth,
That's possible.
but I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. They're leading us in weird directions. So yeah, this episode was mostly about them, about Violet and
We
Tate,
got a little
Violet and
bit of
Constance, and
Ben being. Ben was made aware that the security guard and Viv have some kind of like sparks going on between them.
that's going down. I saw a I couldn't help myself. I saw a preview of next week's episode,
Is it
and
is it fist fight?
no, no,
Is
no,
it
it's so
taser
much
fight?
better. No, 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 no. So remember from the first episode, the whole like Ben and the Rubber Man like going back and forth when he's
Yes.
with Viv. There was a shot in the preview where it was Ben and the Rubber Man and the cop all going back and forth.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy. I'm
I
excited for next week's
think
episode.
I'm fairly sure this next episode is the one that they're supposed to like take the mask off of the Rubber Man.
No, 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 it's not. It's the one after that.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, the next one is Open House,
Oh, and
and
then the one after that is called Rubber Man. I see it now.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So 2 weeks from now, we should know who Rubberman is. But the next one, the preview did not make it clear what happens in this episode, except like Larry says something like, "I think that they're gonna sell the house," but he doesn't say it to anyone particularly. And it's just
Yeah,
like it
Larry
was
didn't even
bizarre.
show up in this episode.
Yeah, I was sad about that. I love Larry.
He's always a little funny.
Well, it looks like he's gonna be in the next week's episode. But like, I don't want to say I didn't like this episode, but I thought that compared to the previous two, three, it was I was a little bored by it, and yeah.
Well, it is nice to see that overall the series is seems to really be holding on. The pilot debuted with 3.2 million U.S. viewers, and then there was a expected drop off to 2.5 for the second episode. But we're maintaining numbers right between 2 and 3 million, and since it was picked up for the second season, I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, I think it's one of the highest rated, highest watched non-network TV shows on TV right now.
Yeah, FX knows their niche and they're doing it well.
Yeah, they did really well.
Letting Ryan Murphy have as much control as he wanted seems to have been the right move for them as
Yeah,
well.
at this point, I will say that I was super skeptical of this. I thought that was going to be a huge failure. And I am very pleasantly surprised that they're doing well, and I'm also happy.
Happy and terrified.
Happy and scared. Oh, it's
So
a weird
anything
thing.
else to add for the horror story?
Oh, I think we have another 30 or 40 minutes of stuff, right? Don't we? No,
Yeah.
no. No. Join us next week when we talk about Open House and Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, and hopefully no more public communications gaffes. Hopefully,
Because none of them will happen in the next week.
I'm sure people
On
will just be.
on our end, I mean. The two of us, we're just gonna play it clean.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, I mean, like, come on, we're great.
We set the example that Ashton Kutcher should follow.
Yes, yes. Come on, Ashton. Just like he's clearly not subscribed to the podcast.
He should start listening.
No, I know Night Watch. That's a Russian movie. It's about vampires.
Oh, hey, we've got some noise on your line.
Some noise.
Yeah, you're nice and noisy.
What's the noise? The noise.
Wow, you sound awful.
Oh no, no. Can we not be lagging? Hello, hello.
I can't understand what you're saying anymore. I'm gonna call you back.
Okay. He, I believe he genuinely just is an idiot and wasn't following the news and decided to tweet something.
Hold on, you're going again.
Oh no, what?
Your buzzing is coming up again. Every time you talk, it just like sparkles around you. It's so bizarre.
Sparkles around me.
I'm gonna cut it out and put it in the video.
Is it still bad? Do we have to start over?
Yep, your laugh is the best part of it.